and we're going to get ready to drink it in once again here at Talladega. Teammates Reynolds and Rainey up front. Vroman and Zittel to help. Look who's jumping up top. Not a surprise. Jeremy McKinnon on the move here.
And he's got a teammate in front of him, and Steve Vroman, who's pushing Reynolds on the outside right now. Those two probably wanting to get Reynolds out front to take the low line, and then the two of them can work together. Another teammate, Andy Poliski, not too far behind, just one truck in between him and McKinnon as well. That is Brody Gunter.
And Gunter is satellite teammate of that organization, so he is very much where he needs to be as well. Oh, that was a big wiggle there.
Oh, there's contact!
Dean! Into the wall and around. Others as
Still
well.
crashing.
Will Spumoni, John Kay. The initial contact happened between Brody Gunter and Michael Dean. Unfortunately, it's going to take a few heavy hitters out of this race or put them severely behind the 8 ball.
The contact happens between them as Dean kind of squeezes Gunter down. I don't think he liked that Gunter filled the hole. So those two make contact. Dean gets pushed to the outside. Then Gunter's not able to corral the truck. He's going to go sideways right in front of Brantley Gainey, who we know is very competitive at the super speedways.
And this is really going to kick off behind them. If you want to jump back to John Kay, he's really going to get one of the worst shots here.
Yeah.
Here's a big move up the middle. Ethan Patterson is looking to get up to the lead.
But not a whole lot of help here. Lockett, Schlosser, and company, they go to the third lane to get around him.
We all had Lockett, Patterson, and Borboom going 3 wide for the race lead on our Venom Truck Series bingo card coming into tonight, right?
Something like that.
I sure did. Exciting times here in the Venom Truck Series. You never know who's going to wind up front.
Third lane now starting to form with Maxwell, Michael Dean.
Oh. Poliski pulls out in front of Ryan Dye, and they're behind. It's the big one. Maybe. Certainly the biggest one of the race thus far. That all kicked off when Andy Poliski pulled out a line on the bottom and checked up the middle from Ryan Dye on back, and the checkup causes the crash for the second time here today.
Poliski made the move up towards the top in front of Ryan Dye, but went too far out. Dye has to check up big time. It's going to check up everybody else behind him. Reynolds gets into the back of Dye and gets him loose. Already had enough at this point. He's into the outside wall.
McKinnon and Poliski. They've duked it out at Daytona for the win before. And looks like it's about to happen again. 1 to go. Right time with a peek to the outside. Tucks back into line. Pascal Simard is the bridge between the two groups. It may be too little too late for anybody outside of the top 6, but Simard can come away with a big run here. Top line fading. Poliski looking for help. Bobbles on the bottom. Big wiggles here.
Big wiggle from Poliski on the outside. It allows the inside line to edge out. Ryan Dye's going to pull out with Nathan Reynolds. Leaves the teammate.
They need a big run, and they need it quick, but now the battle is between Vroman and McKinnon. Stearns boxes Steve Vroman in, and might finally be time for Jeremy McKinnon to get back to victory lane. McKinnon wins it for the second time at Talladega. It'll be a season-best second-place finish for Chad Stearns. How about Steve Vroman back on the podium here? In third, Ryan Dye, Andy Poliski round out the top 5. And boy, that top line blew up. As I don't think we're getting any burnouts here, unfortunately. That may be the burnout there.
Jeremy McKinnon has been robbed of his opportunity for burnouts.
Short track racing is back on the menu, and I hope these drivers are hungry, because they're going to be eating a lot of left-hand high bank turns with bumper-to-bumper racing action. It's the endurance race of season number 7. The Vortex Theory lives 275. Which means there are 275 laps around the last great Coliseum here tonight. Bristol Motor Speedway plays host to round number 6 of season number 7, and it's right here as always on turn 200. It's Tommy Cook, the one and only Tennessee's own Matt Williamson will be alongside momentarily. First, a look at the points after a sort of a not chaotic Talladega, if there ever is such a thing. Nathan Reynolds was in that front pack at the end of it all, and he widens his points lead over Matt Schlosser, who has taken second outright from Brody Gunter. They both finished in the mid-pack, though, and the points lead has widened quite a bit. Steve Roman's on the climb. He's up to 4th. Andy Poliski has been on the steady march ever since his disastrous opening round to the season. He's in the top 5 now. Will Salamone and Nathan Palawota have slid down from their top 3 points positions into a tie for 7th. This will be the 4th ever race for the Venom Truck Series at Bristol, at least the paved version anyway. 2 wins from Andy Poliski in a row to open things up, and Nathan Reynolds finally got over the hump after being the dominant driver in both of the Bristol races before making a swift and unexpected exit. Reynolds seems to think that he'll be the man to beat here tonight, but says there are going to be a lot of players to watch out for, including Andy Poliski, not limited to some other drivers as well from that Broke Guy Racing stable. Ryan Dye has led laps here. Jeremy McKinnon has been awfully fast here at Bristol and has yet to get the job done. And John Kay gave Nathan Reynolds a run for his money last season as well. But don't be surprised if we have a rotating cast of characters, not only through sheer speed alone, but also through the chaos and carnage that is Bristol Motor Speedway. We've had 3 races here at Bristol, none of them as long as this, and 32 cautions between the 3 races here. We could be in for a very long night if things go the way they've gone in the past here in the Venom Truck Series at the last great Coliseum. 275 laps on the way, locked and loaded and around the turn for the Venom Truck Series on turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue 9 I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. Welcome back to live coverage of the Venom Truck Series here on Turn 200. It's the last great Coliseum, which means a couple of things. First of all, it means that we're in Tennessee, which means Matt Williamson has a short drive to the track here today, at least shorter than usual. A lot shorter than our trip to Australia yesterday. But welcome back to Bristol here, partner.
Yeah, excited to be back, and boy, this is we got a lot going on here tonight. We'll get to it throughout the rest of the broadcast, but there's going to be crazy action here tonight. I just have a feeling.
I think you're right. More on that in a second, but first, the Bristol tradition in real life and the Venom Truck Series here, and a welcome one at that. We are not alone in the booth right now. We are joined by the decent one himself, Kyle Zittel. Who's hanging on to a provisional top 10 starting spot here with just a few seconds left to go in qualifying. But welcome back to Booth 200 here, partner.
Thank you, boys. Thank you for having us once again.
And it's the tradition in real life here and in the sim for the Venom Truck Series. The Walkout song. Talk us through putting together this lovely video for the second season in a row.
Yeah, so last season we finally decided, instead of just putting our songs in the Discord and making people listen to them, that we were going to put a video together. Last year's video was very crudely edited. There were some very aggressive cuts. As someone who used to edit video in college, it makes me laugh every single time that I did that. So this year we took a little. I took a little more time, found some more cuts. Found a little better way to edit it together, even put a beginning and an ending to the video. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of it.
Well, there you go. More to look forward to here, and some good songs as well. Songs that I think are sure to excite the audience here. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
My sunny day, I'll be your shade tree. You be my honeysuckle, I'll be your honeybee. No, stop until I break every rule. No limits to what I can another face in the crowd. Well, they call me King Turtle here on Ship Mountain. If you want it, you can have the crown. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been everything you wanna be. Can't you see I'm easily bothered by persistence?
A milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. They're like, it's better than yours. Darn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I'll have to charge.
And I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa.
We ride to the bar by levee, 85 jacked up square body Chevy, blanket in the back when it gets hot and heavy. Oh. Whoa, sign, sign, everywhere a sign, blocking out to see and re-breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read?
Stop it, please. Don't hit me. Please. Don't hit me.
Come on, man, quit that banging.
True, I'm for and I am a 2 for a 2. You better watch where you go and remember where you've been. That's the way I see it, I'm a simple man.
show you mean, mean pride.
He got a tattoo on his arm, say baby. He got another one that just say hey. Whatever Sunday afternoon, he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet.
One day came a man with a Bible in his hand, said, Dan, here's what you're gonna do. Old Dan shot him down, drug his body into town. He was back by the morning dew.
Why you looking so sad? It's a not so bad. It's a nicer place. Ah, shut up in your face. That's my mama.
And this is one of the biggest wins of my career.
Why's that?
It's Bristol, baby!
That doesn't get you amped up. I don't know what will. The walkout songs, great work to Kyle Zittel on that one. He has linked the video, the full video there in the description of this video. So that is what all of these drivers are getting hyped up to here, as it is about time for the endurance race. 275 laps around Bristol here tonight. For the Vortex, Theory Lives 275. And with his 25th career pole, Nathan Reynolds, the reigning and defending series champion, leading the Season 5 Series champion, Andy Poliski, who has won here twice at Bristol. All 3 Bristol wins, sitting on the front row of the race here. John Kay ran very well here last season. He starts in 3rd. Brody Gunter's been running very well this season, has the only short track win of the victory in Season 7. He starts in 4th. Chad Stearns, 2nd place last week, 2. Jeremy McKinnon, they start on row number 3. Luke Peterson has run well here at Bristol in his only appearance. He will start in 7th. Austin Holyfield, best qualifying effort of the season here. Great P8 effort for him. Ryan Dye has run well here at Bristol as well. He starts in 9th. Kyle Zittel has a top 10 finish here in Bristol. He rounds out your top 10. Nathan Paluota, Zach Lockett on row number 6. Tyler Logan, Jan Van Leer on row 7. Gary Clark, Will Salamone on row 8. Garrett Rainey, Paul Ellison, Eric Breeding, and Matt Schlosser, second of the points, all the way back in 20th on the starting grid. And Matt, as we scroll through the rest of the starting grid, I'm not too sure you're going to want to be starting deep here in this one tonight.
No, there's a lot of drivers starting here tonight, and it's going to get wild and crazy. It doesn't matter if it's at the front of the race, the back of the race. It's going to be calamity all throughout, I believe. We have 34 starters here tonight, and you mentioned it, 275 laps is a long ways to go here. I mean, you got to be patient. You certainly can't take yourself out of it, but we always talk about at Bristol how if there's an incident in front of you, it's hard to stay out of, and if something happens towards the front of the field, it could be a major, major problem. Field window tonight's about 170 laps, but drivers going to be coming to take tires before they get to that. They do have 4 extra sets of tires here tonight since it is the endurance race, and 0 fast repairs. We'll be able to continue as long as you don't have a meatball, but you're not going to be able to get too much of it fixed probably. So this is going to be an interesting night. I am certainly intrigued to see how this one plays out.
Something in the Bristol fixed setup provided by iRacing has changed between last season and this truck is incredibly loose, and it's going to rear its head here early. I'm just making that prediction right now. Nathan Reynolds and Andy Poliski lead the charge to turn 1, and we are underway at Bristol. John Kay, good start, already up to 2nd. Poliski still on this top side as Gunter finding room underneath.
Jeremy McKinnon working the top side here. Has an opportunity to move down if he wants to. Does not take it. Poliski's going to move down to the bottom.
A lot of the chatter from the drivers is that the bottom is going to be the place to be all through the night. We saw the top kind of work last season. John Kay especially really made the top side work for as long as possible. But the bottom definitely going to be even more of the favorite line here as the night rolls along. Reynolds still in control. John Kay searching for a way around. Gunter and McKinnon, third and fourth, pulling up here. And Kay now going to go all the way to the top.
Yeah, John Kay is going to start looking around here. Knows he's not really going to be able to make a pass on the bottom, but may start to protect that bottom line now with Gunter closing in.
Side by side for eighth, Nathan Palawota trying to get past Austin Holyfield. As we got trouble in turn number 2. First caution of the night, Michael Dean, Zach Lockett, Ryan Borboom. Involved, others going to drive by and get a piece of the action. And the first one that I saw go around, I think, was Zach Lockett, who has picked up a meatball flag. Matt Schlosser also has a meatball flag. That's bad news for the driver, second in the points.
Certainly is. You don't want to go out early in this one. Although, if you're going to make laps back on people in any race, it's going to be a 275-lap race. So there is an opportunity for that a little bit later on if he has the opportunity. But with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay here. Zach Lockett's here in the 35. And it looks like just gets loose on the top side here, heading into the entry of the turn. Will Salamoni's going to get into him. Schlosser actually makes contact with Salamoni, and that stirs a big pileup down the front stretch there, or the back stretch, that is. Michael Dean with quite a bit of damage here as well.
That happened just outside of the top 10, so a lot of people had to either miss it or were involved in it. But it's the same two characters up front here that we had last season, Nathan Reynolds and John Kay. Reynolds has led the most laps here at Bristol, finally got over the hump last season and got that victory. Led 184 laps en route to victory. John Kay, to say that he has not had the season that he has wanted to up to this point, I think maybe would be the greatest undersell of all time. He is incredibly frustrated with how things have gone this season.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about coming off a season where you had an opportunity to get the championship in the last race. Comes up short in that, but then to start really slowly here in Season 7, certainly not what you want to do following a stellar season that you had in Season 6. So John Kay looking to get this one kick-started here, and this is a good place for him to do it at. He's had success here in the past. Has been really successful in short tracks in general here in the Venom Truck Series. So this would be a good one to turn it around at.
We will see. Led some laps last season, but spent the majority of the race riding behind his teammate Nathan Reynolds. Reynolds, 3-time series champion, the points leader. Led the most laps here at Bristol. Combined between the 3 races. And only one victory. The other driver that has won the other 2 races, Andy Poliski, rides back in 5th. It's McKinnon and Gunter and John Kay. Up to the race leader, Nathan Reynolds. See how quickly these drivers can get it sorted out. Some single file, still some side-by-side towards the back half of the top 10. Steve Roma with a move to get around Jan Van Leer. And Brody Gunter going to come up in front of John Kay and complete the pass for second. McKinnon now underneath Kay. But John fighting back here up top.
Yeah, we're starting to see the top come in a little bit, too. We saw Nathan Palawoda's been making passes on the top side here in the back half of the top 10. So that top side starting to come into play here.
And just as you said that, Palawoda turned the purple lap of the race thus far. 15:039. And a bit of line migration here. So everybody trying to see what is working here early in the going on lap number 16.
You see Palawoda has come into frame now here with the leaders, has made up 4 spots on this restart alone, I think. Really has that top side moving right now.
Yes, indeed. Restarted in 9th and up to spot number 5 here. And right behind this 4-way dance for the top spot, Reynolds in control. Kay and Gunter have moved to every single line, and McKinnon picks up whatever's left.
Kay had to pull it off the wall a little bit there. Driver's starting to get loose on exit now rather than on entry. We saw a lot of loose on entry previously.
And here's Kay. Reynolds going to leave the door open. Oh, and John a little bit loose there on entry on the bottom. And loose on exit as well. Here goes McKinnon to the outside. So McKinnon, or rather Reynolds stringing John Kay along there.
Yeah, a little bit of a bait and switch, I guess. John Kay goes for it. Reynolds says, be my guest. Topside's fast right now anyways.
So Reynolds still has his choice of lane, but he told me before the race, watch out for Jeremy McKinnon. That's exactly what he's having to do right now. McKinnon underneath, looking for the lead. Whoa, and he's loose. Wow, what a save. Here is Palawoda now to the outside for second.
Oh, McKinnon up into Gunter.
Oh, into Brody Gunter. That is hard contact there, right where the safer barrier meets the concrete. Or right on that crossover gate, rather. That has put a damper on both of those gentlemen's races here. John Kay moving backwards. But no meatball flags. Certainly some damage, though. As that's Kenneth Graves, I think, slow. But not interfering with the race right now. And Nathan Palawoda with a run now and a look on Nathan Reynolds. Palawoda been the fastest driver on track here about the last 10 laps. Can he find his way to the lead?
He's been doing
big run here.
Yeah, doing a great job of getting those runs off the top side, but very hard to do anything with them.
Kyle Dumig has found his way around right in front of the leaders. Caution number 2 is out. And a new thing for the Venom Truck Series. Drivers can now claim incidents, claim responsibility for them, and be penalized with an end-of-line penalty. This came after Phoenix, where multiple cautions sort of put a damper on that race. Kyle Dumig straight away claims that is a self-spin and is at the tail of the field regardless.
Yep, and you're going to see it right here. Pretty much loose all the way through those 2 corners, really. It looked to be a little bit loose on the entry. Tried to hang on to it. Eventually, that back end started going around on him.
So we've documented Nathan Palawoda's march through the field here. He's up 9 spots in total, but made up 7 on that restart to get up to second. His teammate Oz Kanar is on a pretty good march through the field here as well. He has gone up from 22nd to 16th.
And Pascal Samard's moved up a bunch of positions as well, as 1 spot in front of Kanar right now in 15th. And started behind Oz, I believe. So, a couple of drivers throughout the field here having good runs. Paul Ellison's up 9 positions as well.
Steve Roman up 8 spots from 21st to 13th. He's been on the move. To your point about Pascal, his best career Venom Truck Series finish came here at Bristol. So this is a track that he can operate at well. So maybe look for him to continue to march up through this field. Nathan Reynolds and Nathan Palawota. This is the points battle at the beginning of this, regardless of how it turns out tonight. I think you can say emphatically that he is back.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, we can't put anything in stone right now because he's at the front of the field, but a long, long ways to go. But certainly rebounding nicely at the moment. He's got the super clean number 6, and his race has been super clean so far and looking to keep it that way.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody is. We will see how that transpires, though. So, the Nathan show up front, Palawota on the outside of Reynolds, who will have control of the restart. Brody Gunter and Jeremy McKinnon. Seemed like the contact didn't affect him too much. They are on row number 2. John Kay back with Andy Poliski on the 3rd row. Chad Stearns, Luke Peterson, Paul Ellison, and Tyler Logan, the top 10. Pace truck hangs the left. And second restart of the night, again, goes to Reynolds. Gunter and Palawota, the top 2 rookies from last season, duking it out. McKinnon will jump to the top. Oh, Reynolds!
Oh!
Palawota sneaks through a truck width gap there by the wall.
Yeah, Reynolds tried to go for the block, but made the move too late.
Watch for a big run off the top here for Palawota. May not be able to clear, but will have the lead into 3.
And he's clear now if he wants it. McKinnon, whoa, Palawota loose. McKinnon's working on Reynolds here as well.
That's a lap lead for Palawota. McKinnon with a bumper! Palawota into the... Back to 4th. Will come out in line in 5th with John Kay underneath. A big bump, and now McKinnon is the leader. Into the wall off of the front bumper of Brody Gunter. Reynolds trying to spin. Oh, pounds the wall. Brody Gunter. No caution. Now the caution is going to fly. What a turn of events there.
Wow.
That is a huge shot there. Reynolds gaining control and a snap over correction into Gunter.
Yeah, Reynolds tried to hold on to that truck all the way down that straightaway and ultimately couldn't get the job completed. Straight up the racetrack, a huge shot into Brody Gunter.
And we've mentioned that Reynolds has led the most laps here at Bristol. Only has 1 win. The other 2 races, he didn't finish.
You can see massive damage to the truck there for Reynolds.
And Brody Gunter is going to claim responsibility for the incident. We'll have to take a look at it here.
Yeah, Gunter big damage as well. Yeah, the initial contact was between the 2 of them as well. That's a little too far forward. Let's go ahead and roll it back just a little bit here. And this is coming off of turn 4. Reynolds is trying to get to the top of the racetrack here. Gunter has a good run. Oh, there's some netco contact there as well. Gunter tries to get slowed down, but the contact is made with Reynolds. And then Reynolds, he's trying to save this thing, but as soon as he jumps back up onto the banking as the wheels turn to the right, and those tires catch and just catapult him straight up the racetrack. Big shot for Palawota as well. I mean, a lot of the fast trucks here have been heavily damaged in the first portion of this race.
Nothing over the radio from Nathan Reynolds, but an apology from Brody Gunter and an apology from Nathan Palawota. Those two and Jeremy McKinnon all swapping tales here about how they just seem to pretty immediately lose grip there about 3 laps into the run. And that's what we were talking about. This seemingly extra loose truck here tonight, for whatever reason, is wreaking havoc at the front of this field already. So let's re-rack them up here at the front of the field. Jeremy McKinnon got the lead there before that melee. John Kay snuck up through to second. Andy Poliski is now in third. Luke Peterson is in fourth. Tyler Logan was in 10th on that last race start. He is now up to 5th. Chad Stearns, Kyle Zittel, Paul Ellison, Ryan Dye, and Austin Holyfield still hanging in here in the top 10. Reynolds, Gunter, and Paluota all came down pit road. Paluota after those other two, but no meatball flags out of that incident. All optional repairs taken by the drivers involved there. Oh boy.
Boy is right.
That was caution number 3. That was an important one here in the timeline of this race. Jeremy McKinnon awfully fast at the front of this field. He is going to be the first driver to elect the outside on the restart. And gets a good jump here. Kay and Peterson now side by side for second. And John is clear up, but stays on the bottom middle there. Going to be maybe looking 3 wide there. Thinks better of it. This is Tyler Logan looking to the outside of Luke Peterson for third.
Yeah, Logan up a bunch of positions here as well, using that outside. That whole team has been using the outside line well. They must have been practicing that earlier today.
Tyler Logan is a late wreck at USA away from possibly being the points leader. Quietly a very great opening season in Venom Truck Series competition for driver number 98. But not being quiet tonight, up to third.
Here comes Paul Ellison continuing to try and gain some ground throughout the field. He's done a nice, steady job of it so far. And now works outside of Andy Poliski to try and get into the top 5. And he will have it up 13 positions now for Paul Ellison.
Great drive for Paul. Got his elbows out at a couple of short tracks last season. Richmond in particular, he was duking it out with John Kay. As, Corey Rutherford with upload packet loss. Hopefully he can come back here quickly. Elson not done on the move. Just pulled right up to Tyler Logan here. Still utilizing the middle and top through the turns.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the drivers you just passed are using the bottom, and Logan has been running almost the same line as Ellison has. So going to be a tougher pass here. Pascal Samard starting to make up some ground here on the top side as well.
Jan Van Leer just had a self-spin and a tank slap into the wall, and he has a meatball.
Kyle Zittel's migrated to the top as Chad Stearns underneath. Stearns is somebody we always talk about when it comes to endurance races because he is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, long-run driver in the field. Ellison's able to get around Logan, missed that one.
Yeah, we had a couple of things happen there on the last couple of laps. Garrett Rainey also found his way into some trouble with Will Salamone, and Rainey has picked up a meatball flag. So Rainey and Jan Van Leer in the pits with meatballs, but no cautions.
And no pasta to go with them either.
No, that's the worst kind. Pasta-less meatballs. In iRacing.
Uh-oh, trouble for Steve Roman. Steve Roman up into the wall.
And he has a meatball flag.
Yeah, he's dropping a lot of positions. He's got major damage. He literally can't get off the wall almost. That truck just will not turn.
Sounds like there was contact with Brantley Gainey to kick that one off. Still, we stay green.
Here comes
treacherous track conditions.
Yeah, most certainly. Here comes Luke Peterson on the bottom to get around Tyler Logan. Peterson usually does well here at Bristol, or at least shows the speed for it, and is showing it again here tonight. See if we can figure out what happened to Steve Roman here. Oh, and it looked like...
oh, we got a spin! Oh, and a save! What a save by Kenneth Graves. Sorry. Hopefully you didn't dump out of that replay.
I certainly did.
I'm so sorry. It was a great save, though.
From what I could tell, it looked more like a self-spin kind of from Roman. Maybe a slight contact into the corner, but not much. Oh, Graves loose again!
Whoa, that was right in front of Jeremy McKinnon.
Right in front of Dumig. Dumig's hard into the wall.
Man. So McKinnon threw some pretty heavy lap traffic, and everybody's having handling issues.
And you mentioned it.
Oh,
starting to...
John Kay just got mega loose pulling up right behind Ryan Borkum. Had to chase it all the way up to the wall. Don't think he hit it, though. But loses a ton of time.
Well, Dirty Aaron trying to navigate through lap traffic is wreaking havoc for the drivers here.
The gap was 2 seconds. Then it was down to 1.2 seconds. Now it's back up to 1.4. So McKinnon and Kay playing cat and mouse.
Tyler Logan really loose as well. Polisi's going to jump up top, but has Kenneth Graves a lap truck in front of him.
Brody Gunter has just come down pit road under green.
Poliski's trying to thread the needle. Here goes Graves.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, third time is the anti-charm.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find Kenneth Graves on my list here. So missed the big action, but saw the cause. We'll go back and take a look, but Graves has had his hands full with this truck and continues to have issues, causes a caution to come out here. We saw him in front of Poliski. Poliski trying to thread the needle between Logan and Graves to make a pass and get through lap traffic at the same time. Graves gets loose up top through the middle of the corner. Gonna come down. Wow, Stearns narrowly avoids disaster there, but makes contact with Kyle Zittel. Zittel with the sideways slide, but really no contact with the wall. Oh, Matt Schlosser makes some contact with Graves while Graves is trying to get going again. A bunch of the leaders have to check up hard as well. And here's the pit stops.
19 of the top 20 onto pit road. The one who did not pit was Nathan Paluota, who came in for fresh tires under the last caution. Jeremy McKinnon wins the race off pit road. John Kay in second. Paul Ellison. Luke Peterson, Tyler Logan will be the top 5. Really the top 6 with Paluota at the front of the field. Paluota, again, on fresher tires that run, but he was picking his way back up through the field after pitting to get the damage repaired from that big incident with the leaders. So he's still got the speed here. Drivers that are a lap down, I think we got 22 on the lap right. Kenneth Graves will be a lap down. Nathan Reynolds is a lap down. Kyle Dumig is a 1 lap down. Brody Gunter, or rather Jan Van Leer, is 3 laps down after picking up a meatball flag under green. Brody Gunter, 5 laps down after a green flag pit stop. Steve Vroman, 5 laps down. Actually, Gunter and Vroman are still on pit road. Actually, Vroman is leaving pit road right now. So Gunter continuing to go laps down. Mark Dillon Jr. is back on the track. He is 7 laps down after a green flag incident. We have not been short on action here in the endurance race. A lot has already been endured.
And still 200 more laps to go. There's certainly more to be endured here tonight as well.
We are doubling up for the restart, but we are going to go another lap around as we're still waiting for our drivers to get formed up here. Apparently some drivers picked up black flags. I'm not seeing anything, but it was multiple people, apparently, including Kyle Zittel. We'll roll with it here. Paluota and McKinnon up front. John Kay already up to second and wants more. Paluota on a bit older tires here. John Kay to the lead.
Whew, looked like Paluota was going to try a crossover there, but McKinnon filled the hole.
And Jeremy to P2. Purple lap of the race for John Kay that last time around. And now here's Paul Ellison on Paluota.
Yeah, Paluota, even though fairly fresh tires, only about 30 laps on those. Has fallen to the top 3.
John Kay with another purple lap last time around. First driver into the 14th. McKinnon into the 14th that last time around. Jeremy McKinnon wants to get back up front.
Most of the field is spread out pretty good here. First battle on the track that I can see is Tyler Bergert, Brantley Gainey. Gainey is going to clear here. And now Michael Dean is going to work underneath Bergert.
Bergert snuck in for a couple top 10 short tracks. Just outside of the top 10 right now, this battle is. As up front, it's less than a truck length now for McKinnon up to John Kay.
McKinnon back to doing what he does best, push as hard as possible. Trying to put the pressure on John Kay here.
No problems for Eric Breeding. We're back under caution.
Luke Peterson is in the wall here as well.
Oh.
Wow, Luke
Peterson
had
was
such a
running in 6th. What has happened? Peterson, I think, was battling with Nathan Palawota. I don't think Peterson hit the wall very hard.
His replay here, and on exit, back end of the truck just kicks around on him. And you're right, he does a good job of getting on the brakes. Doesn't make really much contact with that inside wall. Just gonna
So
be
that's
a single truck incident there.
That's the good news, is that he doesn't have much damage. The bad news is he's going to go from battling for 5th to riding back in 21st.
Looks like we just had problems under caution here as well. At least that's what my incident said for me. I'm not seeing anything here. Interesting.
I guess DK is just a pessimist.
So on lap 84 now. That's 5th caution of the race here. Matt Schlosser's in the chat. Says that Schlosser versus Rutherford battle for 30th is getting real hot here.
A race is a race. They're battling for 30th. They're 20 laps down, but that's a battle, brother. Good news for Eric Breeding. He is going to get his meatball flag cleared and will only be 2 laps down. We say only, but, you know, if cautions continue to sort of compound like this, even at a semi-normal rate, he's on the short end of getting lap backs here, or getting laps back here. John Kay is going to elect the outside. John Kay and Jeremy McKinnon. We've seen a couple of battles between them before. This may be the best one yet, though. Paul Ellison and Nathan Palawota, Andy Poliski, Tyler Logan, the front 3 rows. Fifth restart of the race, John Kay with control on the outside and a good getaway. Palawota still on those older tires. Having to fend off Paul Ellison here on the bottom.
Poliski and Tyler Logan doing battle behind them as well. Palawota does a great job rolling the outside as he has previously. But here comes Jeremy McKinnon. Looked like a little bit of a bump there to John Kay.
There wasn't the first time, but definitely a bump the second time. McKinnon eases off a bit. Gives some space back to the leader. But I'd say McKinnon is a little bit faster than John Kay at this point. Palawota up the track, opens the door again for Paul Ellison to sneak through underneath. And here's McKinnon again, and here's the caution. Kenneth Graves around on the front straightaway out of turn 4. And caution number 6.
I'd venture to guess we're going to see another single car accident probably. Seen a bunch of those here tonight. And it certainly is. Graves running the top side. Gets loose. Wow, look at that move. Eric Breeding does a nice job touching the brake,
Shoosh!
moving over, and hitting the gas to get through.
Nice here you can see a stutter step in a 3,500-pound stock car.
Let's back it up. I want to hear the inputs here from Eric Breeding. Yep, it's the brake, hard on the gas.
Hit
Kenneth
R1
Graves
to
slides,
juke.
Kenneth Graves slides right on through. I'll see you next Tuesday.
You know what next Tuesday is?
Another race.
Yes, but where?
You're going to out me that I don't know the full schedule right here, right now?
No, I'm stalling because I can't remember, and I even typed it into our ticker a bit ago as well. I'll tell you where it is right now, of course. How could I forget? It's in Lebanon.
Oh, heck yeah, brother.
Nashville Super Speedway is back on the menu, and Matt Williamson's eating good next week.
Man, we are just on the Tennessee train here a couple weeks in a row. I get to sleep in my own bed on Monday nights.
I'm going to say you can walk to the track next week.
It's a pretty long walk, but I could do it. It's about a 35, probably a 35-minute ride from my house.
Not too bad.
If anybody's looking to go to the actual race, go in the back way. Traffic is much better.
There you go.
Hot tips from
life hacks. Well, I can tell you what spirit the driver's in right now. Ryan Dye and Luke Peterson are singing Milkshake over the radio.
I think they're going to be singing all sorts of songs over the radio. They may lose their minds by the time this one's over.
I think we already have. Almost 100 in the books, nearly to triple digits. John Kay and Jeremy McKinnon getting ready to duke it out once again. Palawoda and Ellison will continue to battle as well as Poliski and Logan on row 3. Nathan Reynolds got the lucky dog this last time around. He is back on the lead lap. We are back underway.
Ooh, McKinnon with a big run early on the restart here.
McKinnon at the line. Work to do, though. McKinnon clear. Kay with a run. McKinnon leaves it open up top. It might have to be the crossover move now if John Kay wants another go. Elston and Palawoda cannot get it sorted out. They continue to battle here for third.
Yeah, John Kay earlier on, right at the beginning of this race, got past up top and got a little impatient, went for a crossover and lost a bunch of spots as a result. So maybe learn from a mistake, is just going to settle in here for a little bit.
Most of the top 10 is single file here, save for this battle for third. And a battle for eighth between Salamone and Stearns.
Ellison mega loose there on exit. He's going to slide in behind Palawoda.
So Palawoda on 30 lap older tires than the rest of the drivers in the top, really the top 20. But he has put on tires this race.
Brantley Gilbert, good Lord almighty. Brantley, how about Brantley Gainey on
Forward to Nashville already.
on a little bit of a slide here. Just got passed by Michael Dean. Michael Dean now working up towards Austin Holyfield, looking to make a run. But Paul Ellison's making a comeback here on Nathan Palawota.
John Kay fading pretty quickly here from Jeremy McKinnon. They have lost almost a second and a half to the lead. Oh, Pascal Samard is loose and around. Keeps it out of the pit wall. A bit of a stack up through the top 10. We're still green. That is going to cost Austin Holyfield at least one spot, maybe two.
And that fans a few drivers out as well. Salamone, Tyler Logan now battling. Michael Dean continues to move forward even after the stack up. He's outside of Chad Stearns. Palawota and Ellison still battling there for third as well. Ellison finally able to clear.
Oz Canar is loose and stops down the back straightaway. Going to keep it rolling. I think we're going to stay green, but he had just pulled up to make a pass for 11th at that time.
Things have started unraveling again here like a big ball of yarn. I mean, you can see just about every corner exit. Here's a caution.
It looks like Kevin Sargent is slow.
Steve Roman right there with him as well.
Just as his father Paul had just come down to pit, Kevin goes for a spin. He sounded a bit frustrated over the radio, so he may have had some help.
He's going to turn it around and head down pit road here. Here, let's take a look. Both sergeants right here together.
Oh, no. Don't tell me.
Oh, no. And it's a slide from Paul. Kevin's trying to check up, and he's going to get tagged from behind as he's trying to get slowed down. Had to slow down big time for Paul. Take one more look here.
Oh, man. Got hit pretty hard there by Steve Roman as well. The initial contact came from, I believe that was Garrett Rainey.
See him trying to get checked up. Rainey tries to go high, but has Borboom bearing down him on the outside. Little shot for Breeding there as well, and then here comes Steve Roman.
Oof. The drivers over the radio have absolutely lost their mind. I don't even know if I can describe what is happening right now, but it is disturbing. There will be a documentary made on it in about 20 years, and it might win an award.
Better save the replay.
I guess so.
We could turn that into another Venom national anthem.
I don't think it should ever be duplicated. Caution number 7 here. We're into the triple digits. And should I bring up the caution stats? Because honestly, I'm not even going to say that. I'll say the caution stats, though. Minimum number of cautions we've had here at Bristol in a regularly lengthed race. 9. Twice, actually. The other race was 14. So 32 combined cautions between the 3 Venom Truck Series races here. Overall, Venom Truck Series record is 16. Still a ways to go in this one. Jeremy McKinnon had pulled a nice gap on John Kay. But now we'll see what Kay can do here, being stuck on the bottom for this restart. Ellison and now Poliski on the second row, as Nathan Palawota came down to pit under this caution. So that will move Will Salamone now into the top 5, and Michael Dean up to 6th. Back underway. Top 2 away cleanly. Ellison now going to fall in line behind Poliski. Maybe, wow, big wiggle there from Ellison. And here's Michael Dean up to the top side.
Yeah, Dino's been on a pretty big charge here.
Some early problems last week for Michael Dean, sort of put a damper on his race. But fighting here for a spot on the podium around the outside of Andy Poliski. Dean up to 3rd. Nathan Reynolds, after getting the lucky dog under the last caution, has picked his way up to 15th already.
Now Ellison side by side with Poliski as well. Chad Stearns right behind here. So Stearns starting to gain some momentum finally. Is kind of installed out right around 10th place. Has finally been able to make up some ground here.
You mentioned Stearns being a long run guy. We've had some pretty short runs here tonight for the most part. A couple of mediums sprinkled in. But is still managing to pick his way up through the field here after falling back early.
Ellison's done pretty well running the top. Now running the bottom to try to get underneath the Michael Dean. Running that pretty good as well.
Problems. Down the backstretch, I think Samard, Kevin Sargent, several pile in here.
Steve Roman involved again. Oh, and that was right in front of the leaders. Looks like John Kay may have made some contact with one of the trucks that was stopped.
He had to come to a stop rather quickly there. That's probably the biggest one of the night thus far. At least one that the caution came out for. I can't repeat what John Kay just said over the radio, but he would say it was close.
Well, they're nearly 3 wide behind Samard. Actually, they are 3 wide, but Samard goes for a spin by himself. And with 3 wide behind him, there is nowhere to go. Makes contact with Palawota, Gunter, Garrett Rainey's right there, Schlosser and Rutherford, who were battling for 30th. They make contact. Oh, man. Schlosser hard into the inside wall there. Major neck code contact. Oh, Steve Roman wasn't even there. He's all of a sudden appears. Gary Clark, my goodness, you weren't kidding. This is a massive one right here. And then here come the leaders. John Kay. Wow. If there wasn't contact, it was darn close.
I don't think there was. I think he missed it. But he and the rest of the leaders are down pit road right now. And I guess to sum up what John Kay said over the radio, he's going to be changing tires and underwear under this caution.
What a guy.
What a guy. McKinnon, Kay, Dean, Ellison, and Poliski, the top 5 off of pit road. Nathan Palawota and, I believe, Will Salamone have stayed out under this caution. But Salamone coming in now. So Palawota staying off sequence, but a lot closer to when the leaders pit this time around. Only one caution separated. So just one heat cycle difference between these two.
Yeah, Palawota came in the last time around. About 13 laps on those tires compared to where the rest of the field will be. So Palawota will be able to hang on a little bit better here. than he did. Not that he couldn't hang on, and he was doing a pretty good job, but got passed by 3 or 4 drivers there on that first restart after fresh tires had been taken for the rest of the field.
I do want to point out, Kyle Zittel running I believe the spotted cow paint scheme tonight. And, a lot of people from Wisconsin came to my alma mater college. And they always would bring down some spotted cow with them. Shout out to David from Menominee Falls in particular. Big spotted cow guy.
It's a tasty beverage.
I don't partake, but it gets rave reviews, so it's a good-looking truck regardless. Here is one driver that can enjoy a spotted cow, Nathan Paluota, leading the way. McKinnon clear on Dean. Now John Kay looking to do the same. Dean going to stick up to the top side here. Big run on John Kay as the top 4 gets single file. Ellison and Poliski battling side by side behind.
Yeah, Dean really working the extreme top side, almost into the wall a couple times here, but he knows what he's doing.
He's been making it work here.
Yeah, he's still trying to make back some ground on John Kay, doing a pretty good job.
And McKinnon looking to make up ground on Paluota, who has also moved up to the top side. Leaves the bottom open.
And I promise we'll get to a car inside cam at some point here. There's been so much to watch up front with these restarts. It's been hard to find a spot to get one in. And it's going to continue to be hard as Jeremy McKinnon has gotten underneath the Paluota. Makes that pass. Now Ellison starting to work on Michael Dean for 5th. John Kay underneath Paluota to take 2nd now. For Paluota, you're starting to see it.
Oh.
A little bit of a tire difference here, starting to slip back a little bit.
Awkward jigsawing there between Paluota. Ellison, who is into the back of Paluota, tags Dean, and we're back under caution, wrecking on the top 5.
Oh, hard contact.
Austin Holyfield. Oh, boy, Ryan Borboom in there hard.
And drivers still piling in here.
This track is completely blocked. Goodness gracious.
Austin Holyfield went for a Lotus 79-esque airborne spin there. And that's hard to do with the trucks.
Man, it does feel bad for Austin Holyfield, though. He has been in the top 10 all night here, and through no fault of his own here, just got absolutely destroyed. Ellison, Holyfield, Dean, Bergert, and Borboom, all with meatball flags. Yikes.
Let's see what happens here. Taking a look. Oh, Ellison gets into the back of Paluota, and when Ellison tries to check up, gets himself super loose, comes up the racetrack and tags Michael Dean, and then a bunch of drivers. There's Holyfield that piles into Ellison, Bergert into Holyfield, and then Borboom comes in and absolutely destroys the 10. More drivers still piling in here. There was one truck that, I don't know how, just almost full speed made it through all of this. And it was Matt Schlosser. Here comes Matt Schlosser in the 40. Minimal contact with Ellison, who's backing up. Somehow found a hole. But boy, that is the definition of a track blocker right there.
Now, to be fair here, as that crash happened, For anybody that didn't have their relative screen up, they may not have known that there was a track blocker. There was not a single call over the radio that the track was blocked.
Well, that makes it difficult.
Yes.
Oh, here's a view from Ellison. You hear him hard on the brakes. Just can't get slowed up. There's the major contact. I want to see what Matt Schlosser sees when he starts coming through here. He is going pretty slow, but he comes up on the scene thinking that it's probably somewhat clear at this point. Has to make an evasive maneuver.
A bit messy there. Just a bit.
A wee bit.
A wee bit.
Here's a car inside cam for Luke Peterson.
Alrighty.
Hi. It's not for Luke Peterson. It's for the my overlays that apparently did not want to load the correct one here. We'll get that fixed, hopefully.
Sorry, you still get to see a bit of Luke Peterson there.
Yeah, you get to see Luke Peterson.
He's in the top 10 right now. You know who else is back in the top 10? Nathan Reynolds. He's at 9th. But McKinnon and Kay leading the show here.
Wow, look at Berger rocketing around the outside right now. Even with Paliwota, will likely have the spot here in the next corner. All of a sudden, Ryan Dye is well inside the top 10 now. It's been awfully quiet up to this point tonight, but starting to come alive here.
Paliwota getting railroaded on the bottom here. Moving backwards in a hurry. McKinnon with a comfortable lead over John Kay. Poliski, Tyler Logan, and Chad Stearns, the top 5. Kyle Zittel up to P6. And more trouble. I think Tyler Bergert. He's on pit road, actually. So, Garrett Rainey, perhaps, I think just had some problems. I see that he has just picked up a meatball flag, so he was certainly involved in it in some way.
Yeah, not sure exactly what happens here. We'll have to take a look.
So I think Kyle Dumig is going to get loose. And Garrett Rainey gets into him pretty hard. And then more problems for Rainey down the backstretch.
And here it is. That's confirmed. A little bit of light contact with Salamone as well. Pascal Samard comes in and looked like netcode contact, but the front bumper absolutely explodes off the 76.
Oh, that was horrendous netcode contact there. He was going to be just fine. Yeah, that just torched his truck. Well, I don't think it'll be any consolation, but Austin Holyfield has his required repairs done. I'm sure it still has some optional to go. But he is 9 laps down. After running in the top 10 this race, man, that's just... that sucks. Truly and honestly sucks. He's having a great run tonight.
Know who's making his way up through the field here? Nathan Reynolds.
Yes, indeed.
Back into the top 10 now.
Got the lucky dog about 3 cautions ago. And has been pretty steadily marching his way up the pecking order here.
There's the man that owns a car inside.
His works fine.
Calm, cool, and collected.
You mentioned JJ Wang in the chat hanging out with us?
I did not. I didn't even see him.
Yeah, I
I've
said
been too focused on all of the other absolute carnage that's been going on here, and so is JJ.
Yep, that last pileup, he said, looked a bit like Formula Super Series last night at Bathurst. It was a spectacle, to say the least. You're going to have to treat yourself to that broadcast after the conclusion of this one, if you weren't watching with us last night already. Well, McKinnon and Kay look pretty comfortable out front. As comfortable as one could be with this truck here, for whatever reason, which has been just an ungodly handful all night.
Yeah, and part of that is what plays into people piling into that wreck as well, because when they try to get on the brakes, the truck doesn't handle very well, and it's just a carnival inside the truck there.
So McKinnon, who led the most laps last week at Talladega and got the win to boot, he's been close to a win at Bristol here before, doing everything that he's needed to in the opening half of this race to make sure that a victory is within his reach tonight. How about Tyler Logan here on the outside, battling for third once again? And he's going to get it.
Yeah, Logan has been very good on short tracks here this season, shown it again on a much different short track than we've been to so far. Just showing the talents right now. Gets himself up to the third spot. Here comes Chad Stearns, who we mentioned a couple of times here. And the spotted man himself, Kyle Zittel, right behind this battle.
From the outside, it sort of looks like the Stacker 2 Dodge that Kenny Wallace used to run.
Stacker 2's making a big comeback, too.
Are they really?
They really are. I've seen a bunch of advertisements for no reason at all. So quite the product to throw out here.
The big nostalgia run for Stacker 2 is, whoa, Zittel is loose on a... Oh! No contact with anything. Luke Peterson came within an eyelash of hitting the spotted cow. But no contact for Kyle Zittel. That's the good news. The bad news, it's a point and click jinx from the broadcast booth. And Zittel is out of the top 10.
I don't understand why they even want us broadcasting anymore.
I don't know.
We literally can't talk about a single person, and all of a sudden they're at the back of the field.
It didn't break the record that we set with Ryan Dye at USA earlier this year.
Here's a look at the replay. You kind of saw it in the back half of the shot as we were watching the battle between Stearns and Poliski, but just another self-spin. It seems like entering on the top side, very, very treacherous. Ooh, some contact there between Peterson and Nathan Reynolds as well. Not too bad, though.
Yeah, that'll buff. We've seen a lot more buff tonight. That should be fun.
Certainly have. By the way, shout out to Ryan Dye for running a car inside camera for us here tonight. Forgot to mention to the rest of the drivers that anybody could hop in the camera room. Haven't really set that precedent enough for everybody to just know to get in there, I suppose. So we'll get that accomplished here for next week. Or if anybody's listening and you want to try to hop in now while you're racing, feel free. Plenty of downtime so far.
I think the drivers with the most downtime are probably the ones that we want on camera the least. They may be using some sign language to get their messages across here. There has been some rather not sportsmanlike bumping and banging here tonight throughout various portions of the race. But, it's short track racing. Frustrations are going to boil over. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, you'd rather have people crashing virtual cars into each other than them actually crashing into each other in real life. So, there's that.
By the way, I want to mention, if anybody is interested, tell a friend or two that we could use a subscriber or two, or how about 21? We're almost to 500. And
So close.
We would really like to get there before our charity race coming up, because we can have direct donations through the super chats on YouTube to donate to the Toys for Tots. So if you know anybody out there that might want to subscribe, let them know. Let them at least think about it.
Yes, the 2.4 hours at the Glen for Toys for Tots, joint operation between Turn 200 and the American Sim Racing League, will be next Saturday night. This Saturday night is the Turn 200 Championship Race, Gen 4s at Talladega. So a lot of fun stuff coming up here in the next couple of weekends. And start saving your Saturdays in January as well. We may have a special event getting ready to be announced here for early Saturday in January. Exciting times here on Turn 200. Thank you for being a part of them. Thanks for joining us here tonight for the endurance race at Bristol Motor Speedway, which has seen a lot of laps led up to this point by Jeremy McKinnon. Here is Chad Stearns with his best look for second yet.
Yeah, Stearns wasting no time. Got a really nice run off the top side there, but wasn't quite able to make it work. Now John Kay is going to work, trying to create a bit of a gap, some separation there. Meanwhile, Nathan Palawota starting to try and make a move around Tyler Logan.
I believe still off sequence with the tires here, but at least to stop the bleeding for now. Inside the top 5.
Good battle behind them as well between Oz Kanar and Nathan Reynolds.
Kanar's been through the ringer here tonight, so is Reynolds. Good recovery drives for both of these gentlemen so far.
Palawota able to clear. Now Poliski starting to look underneath.
And Kanar able to clear Reynolds as well. As McKinnon and Kay and Stearns, who has faded back now to Palawota, after starting to hound John Kay there. Poliski and Logan side by side. Oh, Logan's loose. Wow. Good save, but not out of the woods yet. Neither is Kanar, who is loose underneath. Kanar saves it.
Makes a save, but Reynolds gets by.
Kanar still a bit wobbly here on the bottom. Luke Peterson and Will Salamone looking to get around up top. These trucks just look to be a handful.
Certainly, Logan just completely lost the nose there on exit. Had to make a big move to save it.
And an important one as well. That is a tough spot to do that and keep it out of the wall, and did it. Kinnan with a 1.3 second lead is starting to find his way to the back of the field here, little by little. Past Brantley Gainey underneath.
Politsky starting to work his way up towards Palawota here as well.
Oh, we just had a problem for Kyle Zittel. We're still green, but he has found his way into the wall and now has a meatball flag. Oh, man. Well, we certainly did that one to him. Oh, Kenneth Graves pounds the wall as well in turn 2 and is still keeping it up here, going awfully slow. We'll make it down to the bottom of the track.
And there's race leader Jeremy McKinnon going by. Graves is going to get all the way off the track and go down pit road here.
We're down to 14 trucks on the lead lap, now make it 13, as that's Ryan Borboom going a lap down. McKinnon slowly but surely putting time on John Kay. And Kay putting time on Stearns. Stearns about to have his hands full with Nathan Paluota here.
Close battle back here between Peterson and Kanar. This all happened when Kanar got awful loose on exit, dropped a couple of spots. Salamone next in line trying to work on the 16. Oh, Kanar loose again. He's down towards the wall. That's going to bring out the caution.
Was running in 9th, and the caution is out. Inside of 100 laps to go now at Bristol.
That was one of our longer stints of the race. It was about 25 laps or so.
I don't know if Kanar hit the outside wall or not, but he did a good job keeping it off the inside wall.
Oh man, you could see when he on exit there, he's already loose, and then when he comes in to enter, we've seen this time and time again, and entering the corner on the top side, you start to lose the rear end, and you think you kind of got it saved, so you kind of stay in it, and it just eventually does go around. We've seen that so many times tonight. Likely going to see maybe some pit stops here, maybe not.
Yeah, I was expecting some drivers to come down pit road. And to answer JJ Wang's question, yes, that is Corey Rutherford from ASRL, the ASRL head. Tomorrow night, the ASRL Sports Car Championship is at Lime Rock Park, and it's the Matt and Matt show. Matt Williamson and the race versus GOAT, Matt Houston, will be on the show. I have other places to be that apparently I can't get out of. So, the Matt and Matt show tomorrow night. And Houston has threatened a hostile takeover of the booth for Formula Super Series as well, but has yet to follow through. So, I'd not be surprised if we popped up on a Monday night here before too much longer. We did have a couple of drivers end up down pit road here, second lap around. I'm assuming they were drivers that are not on the lead lap. Kanar, Maxwell, Rutherford, Vroman, Graves, Gunter, Dye, Sargent, Paul Sargent, I should say, Samard, and Van Leer.
One truck that is on the lead lap is Ryan Dye. Looks like Ryan Dye is the only lead lap truck that did come down pit road that second time around.
So Dye will put on 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods. Not sure anything is feeling good out there, spiritually or handling-wise. This truck, and we've been harping on it all night, but whatever they did between, what was it, August or September when we were here last for the Venom Truck Series to now, the setup is not working. Everybody is having loose in and loose middle, loose off conditions in this truck. And it has cost several drivers an opportunity at the win and even to finish this race. Jeremy McKinnon and John Kay inside of 100 laps to go. Chad Stearns, Paluoto, row 2. Poliski, Logan, row 3. It's Reynolds and Peterson on row 4. Salamone and Breeding, the top 10. Ryan Dye in 11th. Ryan Borboom got the lucky dog. He is the final driver on the lead lap in 12th. Oz Kanar and Cole Maxwell 1 lap down, 13th and 14th. And then it's a jump back to 4 laps down to Jan Van Leer in 15th. Brantley Gainey is 5 laps down in 16th. Pascal Samard 5 down in 17th. 6 laps down, 18th, 19th, and 20th is Brantley Gainey, Kenneth Graves, Paul Sargent, and Kyle Dumick. A lot of attrition tonight, as expected, and more to come. Whether you're on the top or the bottom, the control car is the person to be here on the restarts. McKinnon with another good jump. Kay cleanly into second. Stearns and Paluoto duking it out for third. Paluoto, the slow truck here on the bottom. That might hold Stearns up a bit, and Paluoto will take third. John Kay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, most of the top 10 single file, but pretty close together here. Andy Poliski's caught up to Chad Stearns. Stearns has slipped back a little bit.
And John Kay has not really let Jeremy McKinnon slip away. At least not yet, like he had the last few restarts. In fact, he is closing the gap up to the lead. This is the first time we've seen anybody challenge, and that has come to an end as the caution is out. Paul Sargent around down the front stretch. So another caution here on lap 191.
And this will be much of the same we've seen throughout the night. Loose through the middle of the corner. Pretty decent hit to the inside wall there for Sargent, though. Seen a lot of drivers be able to kind of come out with not too much damage, but a pretty hard hit to the inside wall there.
I think we are in for pit stops here. Pretty much everybody is coming down. Save for Ryan Dye, who will mix it up strategy-wise. Paluoto now on sequence for the rest of the field. Eric Breeding is also back on the lead lap. He was multiple laps down. I think at one point I said, he's 2 laps down, but if we keep having cautions, he'll be just fine. Look where we are. I'm not right a lot, but it feels good when I'm right. You know, I don't think Eric is minding that I'm right at this point either.
No, certainly not, especially after you mentioned his name and he's starting to go forward.
A rarity.
And it seems like a good call from Ryan Dye here. We mentioned that he came in under the last caution there towards the very end of his opportunity to come in, and it's paid off. He's going to stay out with about 10 laps on that set of tires there. When he came in, I think he was right around 10th or 11th place, so big track position swing here. We'll see if he can hang on to it. Good news
Reading
for him,
over the... Go ahead.
well, the good news for him is there's a couple of drivers behind him that are on much older tires than he is, so maybe they could stack the field up behind him a little bit.
Eric Breeding has said he is down to his last set of tires. That is why he is prolonging this stint as long as possible. But only 13 drivers on the lead lap. No, this is not sponsored by Venom Energy. Just called the Venom Truck Series. And that is not a Stacker 2 truck, but it looks like it. That's what Matt and I have been talking about up here. That's the Spotted Cow machine, driven by Kyle Zittel, which unfortunately was getting along pretty well, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Well, he's a Spotted Cow.
Yep. So he is back on the track in the top 20 right now, but 7 laps down. So Ryan Dye, who has led quite a few laps here at Bristol in VTS competition, but is yet to take a checkered here. We have seen him win on a short track here on the channel. Won the Turkey Trot in 2022. That's Season 5 at IRP. Two-time series champ leading the way here late in. Knocking on the door of lap number 200 here as we come to our 13th restart of the evening. Eric Breeding will restart on the inside of the front row. John Kay and Ryan Borboom on row 2. Good jump again for Dye. Borboom stacking up the inside line. John Kay through to second. Don't think we mentioned Jeremy McKinnon being towards the tail of the field here. I don't know what happened to him. He may have picked up a penalty of some sort.
Certainly must have. You saw Eric Breeding really start to go backwards quickly there on those old tires. Nathan Palawoda, he slides underneath Andy Poliski to take the 3rd position. Pretty good little gaggle here between Stearns, Peterson, Reynolds.
Purple lap of the race for Ryan Dye, who is getting along just fine up front. Oh, trucking the wall hard down the backstretch. I think that was Andy Poliski or Brantley Gainey, one of the two.
Yeah, that's Brantley Gainey.
Gets me every time.
John Kay not letting Ryan Dye out of his sights here. We're going to go to the cockpit. Dye still utilizing that middle to top. John Kay starting to move down towards the bottom of the racetrack. He's making up good ground here. Okay, doing a good job rolling the middle, kind of feathering the throttle a little bit to try to get that truck straightened out before he really puts the pedal down.
Oh, Bertie Gunter is loose, trying to hang on to it and whip. He was actually running with Luke Peterson, who's in 7th, but Bertie Gunter is 7 laps down. Still has top 10 pace here.
John Kay's finally got a nose underneath. Ryan Dye's going to use the top side to try to play some defense here, use the momentum around the top of the racetrack.
Oh, now caution is out. Kevin Sargent is around right in front of the leaders here. It keeps it parked on the bottom of the track. More trouble ahead of him as well. I think Cole Maxwell and Oz Kanar found their way around. So we have matched the Bristol track record for cautions here in the Venom Truck Series with caution number 14.
Take a look at the replay. Here, Sargent. Oh, he starts to lose the nose, tries to correct it, overcorrects it a little bit, then pulls it back to the left. Oh, and hits the water barrels. And then that incident between Kanar and I think it was actually Paul Sargent that had gotten into him originally. We're going to back that up. Yeah, Kanar's going to go way high because he thinks Kevin's coming up the track. Meanwhile, Paul's right behind him. Gets into him. It stacks up that line. Cole Maxwell's at the back of it. Maxwell tries to dive to the inside, but Kanar is there. Both of them hit the inside wall pretty hard there.
Yeah, that's a bad news to worse sort of thing for Maxwell, who was in position for the lucky dog. Not only does he not get it, but he got a meatball flag out of that. As did Kevin Sargent, but Kevin Sargent going to throw in the towel. From the lead lap, I believe Ryan Borboom and... Actually, that's it. Ryan Borboom down pit road. Corey Rutherford and Steve Roman both down pit road this time, as well as Brody Gunter and the aforementioned Cole Maxwell, who has a meatball flag. Well, it was about to get spicy up front, as John knew he needed to go there, because Paluoto was pulling up in a hurry. But another restart ahead. It was whatever we had at North Wilkesboro in Truck 200. That's the Turn 200 record.
I want to say it was 17.
I think so. Here we go. Coming to 212. John Kay spins the tires there. Here's Poliski to the outside. Poliski fades as John Kay gets back on it. Paluoto and Reynolds going to jump up to the top here.
Kay not wasting much time. Look to the underneath of Ty there. Wasn't quite able to make it work, but now has a good run.
Corey Rutherford is slow ahead of the leaders here. I think he's moved down to the bottom of the track. We're going to stay green. Here is Kay with a nose out in front.
Ryan Dye doing a great job of just rolling the top, using that momentum to stay even with Kay down the stretches, making Kay burn up the tires a little bit here. What you got to do when you're on a tire deficit.
Both of these guys look so unsteady. Kay so close to being able to clear. Here is Rutherford ahead of the leaders now. Oh, no! Dye saves it. Kay locks it down. Is everybody going to miss? No! Salamone tries to throttle it out, and Kay down the track and in front of the 99. Oh, man. Oh. Meatball flag for John Kay and Will Salamone. Order caution for the 15th time.
Here's a look at the replay here. Kay and Dye side by side. Ryan Dye, as we had seen in almost every corner exit previous, was getting awful loose, losing the nose on the exits. Moves down the racetrack this time. And he is able to save it, like Tommy said, but not before he tags John Kay in the right rear. He goes for that spin and seems to be doing okay until Salamone comes and blasts the doors off.
John Kay's had the season from hell, but he is about as upbeat as anybody could possibly be in this situation over the radio.
Here's the in-car from Brian Dye. We'll see the wheel work. Starting to get loose on him here. Big turn to the right. Gets it corralled. Unfortunately, just a little bit of contact with the two.
Well, Ryan Dye has given himself an EOL penalty after that. Which again is the new procedure here in the Venom Truck Series. You can claim an accident and get an EOL, or if you're found to be at fault for an accident, you can pick up a post-race penalty if you don't claim the accident. So Dye will give himself the penalty here for the contact. And that brings us back to the Nathan and Nathan show. And Jeremy McKinnon, who 2 cautions ago, when the entire field came down to pit, he picked up a penalty, had to go not just to the tail end of the 12 lead lap trucks, but to the back of the entire field, and has worked his way now back up to third. McKinnon with some unreal pace here tonight, and an opportunity to take the lead and the win back.
And Luke Peterson hanging around in the top 5 here still as well. Has been hanging around that 5th spot. I mean, quite literally, I think, all night. While most of these drivers have kind of come and gone from the front to the back, whether it be for spins or issues on pit road, other things, Luke Peterson has been here the entire time.
Caution being extended here by 1 lap. And it's worth pointing out again, because Paluota's been off sequence all night. He is on sequence with these drivers. I think pretty much everybody in the top 10 here, save for maybe Eric Breeding one way or another, is on the same tire strategy here. Breeding has either not used his final set or has used his final set. Not quite sure.
I think he has that 1 set left. He's just been trying to save him. I think he's trying to get back on sequence with everybody when they do come down pit road one final time.
They can go, if we go green the rest of the way, they can make it. Obviously on fuel, but tires and grip in general proven to be a commodity here tonight. Back underway. John Kay in the chat. Unfortunately, not out on the track. But Nathan Paluota showing the way.
And
Is
Rebecca
here.
Missiswoda in the chat right on cue.
And Paluota could use the support right now, because here is Reynolds right behind.
Yeah, Reynolds is going to have to be careful, though, because McKinnon is on the move.
3 drivers that have been all over this field and all over this track tonight. Paluota, Reynolds, and McKinnon. Here's Jeremy and Nathan duking it out for second again. Poliski in this group as well. A bit of a gap back to Stearns in 5th, Peterson and Logan behind them. And Ryan Borboom right now running in 8th. And it's a hornet's nest still behind him.
See McKinnon starting to get a little impatient here, starting to try to work the top side, working a crossover here on Reynolds.
The first name that Nathan Reynolds brought up tonight is, we're back under caution. And Kyle Zittel is around, not too far in front of the leaders here. And unfortunately, it's going to collect Gary Clark and Paul Sargent as well. That, I believe, is caution number 16.
Both Zittel and Clark jumped to the pits immediately, so it must have been pretty heavy damage.
Well, Zittel's night went from bad to worse as soon as we called him out the first time.
Oh, and Clark's going to lose it down on the bottom. Couple, 3 or 4 truck lengths in front of Kyle Zittel. Clark in the 24 there in front of the 01 of Gunter. You see him losing the nose. He's trying to save it, Oh, he makes contact with Gunter as well, and it shoves him up the racetrack right into Zittel. Zittel kind of caught off guard there. Rutherford's going to pile in as well. I think Zittel thought Clark, rather, was going to go straight down the racetrack, but Gunter was in his way. And the 24 came straight up into the 53.
Well, it feels all but inevitable at this point that we are going to set the Venom Truck Series record for cautions. And this was always going to be an interesting race, the endurance race, the longest race of the season in terms of mileage here at Bristol. But I want to say this. The racing has been good. It's been pretty respectful here tonight. This setup is terrible. Whatever iRacing did to the Bristol setup here, or whether it's the track conditions or what have you, absolutely sucks. It has really put a damper on what has been a pretty good night of racing, all things considered. So, of course, there were always going to be a higher number of cautions than you wanted to see, but, I mean, hardly any of that has been on the drivers here tonight. This truck has just been absolutely borderline undrivable. What's going to make this interesting down the stretch here is we've just had Ryan Dye and Eric Breeding come down to put on fresh tires. And with only 12 trucks on the lead lap, they don't have very far to climb up to make their way to the front.
And I think that's a great move. I mean, obviously, they're probably going to try to cycle back to the lead when a caution comes out again, probably inevitably, like you said. Some of the other drivers are going to try to come down with only 25, 30 laps left and take it then. Those drivers are going to be able to cycle to the front of the field. They're going to have to play some defense, but going to put themselves in a good spot to make up that track position a little bit easier than they would otherwise.
So we'll gear up to go one more time. And I think we're going to have to extend the yellow here as we've got some lap trucks in position where the lead lap trucks need to be. Then again, maybe not. Pace car going to enter the pits. We'll get back to it. Palawoda with a good jump again. Boy, it has paid to be the control car tonight on these restarts. But now you got to manage the gap. Couple of truck links back to Reynolds, who was having to fend off Jeremy McKinnon. McKinnon with a bit of a run. Look for the crossover. Not close enough this time to capitalize. May trying again here down the backstretch. Oh, whoa. But he's going to stay up top as Reynolds loose.
Close call between those two, but McKinnon is just going to take it. couple of those drivers that came down pit road for fresh tires working their way through the top 10 already. Ryan Dye, Luke Peterson up to 7th and 8th. Reynolds starting to struggle a little bit here. He's trying to fend off Andy Poliski, but Poliski staying strong on the bottom here.
Door opens for Poliski, trying to get back on the podium. And McKinnon has the race leader in his sights, down to 2.5 truck lengths.
Poliski, Reynolds continue battling side by side here.
Oh, McKinnon around! All by himself, Jeremy McKinnon, the caution is out. Jeremy McKinnon from second, a solo spin, some contact, I think, to the outside and the inside wall. And the record has been tied.
Wow, McKinnon, we know he pushes hard, but he's been pushing hard all night. Really hasn't had many issues of his own, and with only about 35 laps to go, it bites him hard. See McKinnon in the rear end of that truck already starting to go around. Man, look at this thing. He's trying to save it completely sideways. The inside wall actually saves him from going broadside up the racetrack right in the middle of action. Just makes that bit of contact with the inside wall, the left rear. It'll be a little bit damaged, but all things considered, could have been much worse.
Under caution here, McKinnon made contact with Corey Rutherford as the field checked up really hard for seemingly no reason. That wasn't on Corey or Jeremy, but I think probably just adds a bit to the frustration here for McKinnon. Luckily, like we've mentioned, only, I think, 13 trucks now on the lead lap, so McKinnon back to 11th here.
We're going to keep going off this replay. See if we can see that under caution incident you talked about. Yeah, everybody started moving quickly, and all of a sudden they stacked up really hard here.
Nathan Palawota over the radio says it's raining. I'm sure he does. And Brantley Gainey says, no, that's just me crying.
Wow. Quite surprised to see those top drivers stay out again. I would have thought we'd see somebody maybe come down pit road here, but
may not be enough laps left to, but then again, maybe not.
Maybe not. We're going to be under 30 laps to go here.
Salamone and Samar did come down to pit. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, some of the drivers that came in that caution previous, Ryan Dye, Eric Breeding, Luke Peterson, they've gotten up to 6th, 7th, and 8th. So they're starting to knock on the door. See if they can capitalize.
Here we go. The Nathan's up front. Stearns in third. Oh, I thought Cole Maxwell just got turned into the outside wall, but they all collect it.
Here comes one of those drivers we mentioned on Fresher Tires, Ryan Dye, right here. He's now into the top 5, right behind Stearns and Pleski.
Oh, he's got to be in the catbird seat here if he can keep all 4 tires underneath him.
Unfortunately for him right now, Pleski! Contact with Stearns, hard into the wall.
Absolutely pounds it, no caution. And a meatball flag. That was always going to be in play there. I mean, that is just ridiculous. If you got guys like Reynolds, McKinnon, Dye, Kay, Poliski that can't hang on to this truck, who's supposed to be able to? Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, Reynolds starting to slide a little bit now. Stearns, even with the contact with Poliski, able to get around the 38. Here comes Ryan Dye with Fresher Tires underneath. Stearns to second. Ryan Dye now into a podium spot.
What a drive here for Ryan Dye. Great recovery.
Luke Peterson is next up on the fresh tires. He is behind Nathan Reynolds, behind Tyler Logan, who is now right behind Reynolds. Reynolds starting to struggle a bit here.
Yeah, you mentioned some mainstayers in the top 5 all night. Luke Peterson and Tyler Logan have hardly left at all. Palawota's been up towards the front most of the night, save for getting off sequence on pit strategy. And his skirmish early in the race, if you want to call it that.
I like skirmish.
19 and a quarter laps to go. Pallawota up front. Stearns is closing a bit, and lap traffic not too far ahead. Ryan Borboom, who was running in the top 10, has tagged the wall and has picked up a meatball flag. Man, it's looking to be a career night here for Borboom tonight.
Ooh, Stearns in second there. Awful close. Oh no, there goes Sargent.
Wow, how did he not tag Ryan Dye?
I don't know. Dye does a great job. Gets down on the apron before he gets to Reynolds, Logan, and Luke Peterson as well. That was close.
Ay, ay, ay.
It's Carnes.
Oh, trouble.
Oh, no.
And not sure what it's for. Ryan Borboom is slow, but I thought he was navigating pit road there. Did we have something else?
I do see Ryan Borboom jump to the pits rather than entering.
But he was on the... Maybe he's on the other side of pit road. Regardless, that's sort of par for the course. The record-breaking caution in Venom Truck Series history. For a night with so many cautions, there's really only been 2 or 3, maybe 4 real crashes.
Yeah, something must have happened to Borboom here. Might be out of gas, to be quite honest.
Well, he had a meatball flag, but he came down and served it and cleared it. It immediately leaves pit road and stops. I don't know how he would be out of... I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. Really, really slow on pit road, though.
Just another driver in a long list who are having a really good race and are going to have nothing to show for it at the end of the night.
Well, he's driving... Oh, his motor blew. So his motor blows. He's on the other side of the racetrack. He's trying to come down and get into pit lane. But he's on the opposite side. So he was going to have to roll all the way through and then get to the next pit lane, but he's not going to be able to. Stops on the apron and just toes.
I see now that I was wrong. Borboom obviously didn't clear his meatball flag. Andy did.
Couple of drivers down pit road this time.
Reynolds and McKinnon. Gonna give it a go as the laps are winding down here.
Cole Maxwell on the lead lap as well. He came down with McKinnon also. Two or three cycles for Paluota and Chad Stearns. Also Tyler Logan on those tires now. Everybody else with a tire advantage to those three. Three or four drivers out there with less of an advantage than those that just came down pit road, but still an advantage nonetheless.
Ryan Dye is going to be one truck separated here from getting to the front. Stearns was closing, but the control car position has been where you want to be tonight. And Paluota has that. It'll be 11 laps to go when we come back to the line. Paluota looking for his second career and second season victory. Stearns looking for the first of the season. And Tyler Logan just looking for his first here. Ryan Dye, boy, did not get going very well here on the bottom. Back to fourth.
Looked like maybe a misshift or something happened. Fell pretty far back. Was right next to Tyler Logan, and all of a sudden just dropped like a rock there for a moment.
10 laps to go, 9 at the line. Paluota in control.
Oh, wow. Nathan Reynolds on the outside. He got into the wall there on exit as Peterson underneath.
Stearns starting to look. Reynolds pushing Logan through. Clear on Dye. Here's Stearns with a drive underneath.
Oh, Reynolds is loose. Big damage.
Man. Dye makes it through. Others will not.
Oh, my.
Yikes.
That's another track blocker.
Yeah. Michael Dean, John Kay, Nathan Reynolds, Tyler Logan as well, Jeremy McKinnon. That is more of the carnage we expect here with 19 cautions.
I mean, Reynolds was pushing so hard there. And, just maybe a bit too hard. Reynolds was railing the top side. You mentioned he pushed Logan out in front of Dye. He was really on the move here. But as he comes onto the transition to the straightaway, loses the rear end, gets down into Logan. Ryan Dye narrowly escapes another one, unbelievably. But Chairman McKinnon's involved, John Kay, Garrett Rainey, Austin Holyfield, Tyler Berger, they're all piling in here. Michael Dean, Corey Rutherford, Oz Kanar, he's down there slow on the bottom. I mean, that's about as violent as it gets here.
Well, Jan Van Leer was taking the lucky dog and was coming by at pretty much full tilt, and Paluota got hit. Paluota's got damage.
If we can look at that incident, this is Jan Van Leer rolling around the racetrack. Fast forward this. I'd like to take a look at it, but might not get to it here. Here he goes. Starts his way around. Maybe not. That's all right. Here he comes. Oh, and you're right. Palawoda was up there on the wall. And there's a contact.
Now, Jan did call out that he was moving up at the top of the track.
Lindsey G with the call out for a nose turn for the worst there.
Here we go.
Wow, Stearns, good run here.
Palawoda with the damage, trying to hang on. 1 to go. This is for the win. Palawoda gonna hang on. Palawoda with the second win of the season. And the field has endured Palawoda to P1. Chad Stearns second for the second week in a row. And how about Luke Peterson to round out the podium? Well, it's a record number of cautions. Some interesting happenings in the later portion of this race. Going to be quite a few unhappy people. But we'll celebrate a win here for Palawoda.
And here's the Polish.
He knocked on the door a lot last season, didn't waste any time here in Season 7, and now it's win number 2 for Nathan Palawoda at a critical time. Just as maybe we thought his season was on the skid, there is life in the 6 camp. And he will park it at start-finish there. And we'll go ahead and give you the full finishing rundown here. There was a lot of moving and shaking there. Towards the end of the race, you may have lost track. Favorite driver finished? We'll be sure to tell you right now. Palawoda with the win, Stearns in second, Peterson in third. We'll hopefully talk to all three of these gentlemen momentarily. Ryan Dye backed up to fourth there at the end of the race. Cole Maxwell, I believe, has just tied his best career finish in the Venom Truck Series with his fifth place. Eric Breeding will finish in 6th. Then it's 7th for Jeremy McKinnon, considering where he was at under the last caution. Not too bad of a finish for him. Tyler Logan will finish in 8th. Will Salamoni in 9th. The last truck on the lead lap. Oz Kennard will round out the top 10. 1 lap down. Nathan Reynolds 11th, 2 down. Jan Van Leer 2 down in 12th. Pascal Samard 5 down in 13th. Kenneth Graves 6 down in 14th. We'll just say a lot of laps down from here on out, instead of telling you how many laps down everybody is. Brody Gunter in 15th, Andy Poliski 16th, Steve Roman in 17th, Michael Dean, Paul Sargent, and John Kay round out the top 20. Brandon Gainey 21st, Corey Rutherford 22nd, Paul Ellison 23rd, Ryan Borbu, Matt Schlosser 25th, Tyler Bergert, Austin Holyfield, Kyle Zittel, Garrett Rainey, and Kevin Sargent through the 30th position. Kyle Dimmick, Gary Clark, Mark Dillon Jr., and Zach Lockett through the 34th and final position. Podium interview time.
There's a lot of
waited quite a bit of the day to get a picture from Luke Peterson, but the picture going to look a lot better now with Luke Peterson with a bronze medal in around his neck at the end of this one. I mean, Matt and I were talking through the race here. You didn't hardly leave the top 5 all night here, so to see you end up P3, not a surprise to anybody that was watching here tonight. Congrats on the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cream has risen to the top. Yeah, no, it was tough as all cuss to get out. Self-spin mixed in there. The myriad of cars littered on the track during cautions and during the race. But yeah, just hung around there at the end. A lot of luck, to be honest. Got good teammates that coached me through a lot of stuff, so we'll take that all day long.
Matt, what do you got here?
Well, huge congratulations on a podium position. I mean, you were hanging around there. I mean, right around the top 5. We saw a lot of the other drivers go from towards the top, maybe to the bottom, and then had to work their way back up. But you were so consistent here tonight. What kind of led you there?
I think if we go back and look at last season, even consistency is the only thing that I tend to excel at. So if I can find a line that will maintain enough speed to stay, I feel like I can just run that all night long. So that was the plan from the start. Tear the bottom, stay on the bottom. The only thing I used the top 4 was to pass like 2 people, I think. So that consistency keeps your tires clean, and it just allows you to keep going. To be honest, I just wish there hadn't been as many cautions.
Yeah, I think we all were in that same boat. First podium of the season, 4th of your career. Well-deserved, hard-fought, well-earned here tonight. People you want to shout out and thank here?
As always, turn 200. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you guys to the Vortex Theory 275 or whatever it was. My beautiful wife, Kim, as always, mom and dad and sister, everybody out there in Radio Land watching. Love you guys, mean it. Alabama Gang and Super Kick. And I forget this every time. We know my nickname. Thank the Lord, because without the Lord, I would not be here, y'all. I appreciate it.
I'm sure some prayers were definitely thrown up through the course of this race, and prayers answered as well. Nice podium run here tonight, partner. Go party.
Thank you, boys.
Well, we didn't get to talk to your second place finisher last week at Talladega, but you know what? He finished second again here tonight. So we'll talk to Chad Stearns here tonight, and made it interesting there late. First of all, congratulations on a couple of second place finishes now. We were slowly sort of calling your name out more and more through the night. We didn't ever have a long run in terms of green flag racing, but this race was just one big long run, and you're always there at the end of those. So nice job here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was kind of my strategy, just survive and hope there was a long run, but there really wasn't. Tires really weren't a factor, so yeah. It worked out, but I'm just glad to be back up here with you all.
You faded back a bit there from your 5th place starting spot, but still hung around the top 10 most of the race here. What sort of brought on the charge there late other than sort of attrition? What were you doing?
Well, I typically run the bottom, like at all times. And I don't know, man. It took me about 250 laps to figure it out, but I moved up to like the middle, just a little bit off the bottom, like the first groove, and it just seemed like I found more grip and I was a lot faster, so I just tried to stay there. The only problem was I needed to be all the way up top in them last laps, so couldn't get it done, but, you know, moving up helped me for the final part of the race anyway.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, congrats on the podium finish, a couple weeks in a row here, Chad. We heard a lot of the drivers in practice and throughout the race really complaining about the setup and just how difficult it was. What was it that made it so difficult to drive these trucks around Bristol here tonight?
I'm really not sure what the deal was, but after I'd say about 12, 15 laps, it got super loose on entry. So yeah, it was just it was a bit sketchy, but I'm not real sure what the deal was or why it was doing that, but it definitely made it interesting.
Well, you certainly made it interesting there at the end as well. A great battle all the way down to the end, and another hard-fought second-place finish here in as many weeks. Shout-outs for you. Anybody you want to say hello to?
Just shout out to Venom Truck Series and then you guys for doing the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Thank you, partner. Congrats on the P2. We'll talk to you again here soon.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
And now we'll bring up your race winner for the second time this season. It's great to get to talk to Nathan Paluota, as always. Even better when we get to talk to you as a race winner here. Nice job here tonight.
Man, I was so in my own head during those final laps and stuff. I just felt like I couldn't catch a break. I don't think I've ever worked harder for a win on any game, anything, than that. I mean, I totally thought Chad was faster there at the end. I thought it was over, man. My tires were burnt up. I used every inch of that rubber, dude. I mean, but you know what got me that win? I got my lucky undies on right now. They are green and they have aliens on them, dude, and Sasquatches. Those are my lucky undies, dude. Before the race, I was like, I gotta put those on, bro. The lucky undies, and man, they worked.
Well, as long as you remember to take them off and wash them at some point. I'm assuming they're probably going to be worn a lot more this season.
Yes, sir.
I mean, as much as you were in control of what you needed to control here tonight, this was a night, even more than Talladega last week, where you needed luck more than anything. It just, everything was stacked against all the drivers here tonight, not just you. I mean, you put yourself in a position there in the end to be the control car on those final couple of restarts, and that was a really big key. Even so, Chad Stern's able to reel you in there for the last couple of laps. I mean, like you said, I'm sure just the last probably 50 or so laps when you're towards the front of this race, you had to be on pins and needles.
Oh, yeah. It felt so long. I just was like, oh my God, I can't catch a break. I was just sweating bullets, man. I don't know. Everybody. So at one point, Jeremy was up there. Then I just saw him spin out, and I was like, no way. I was like, he was the guy I was really worried about. He was really quick all race long, and he had all different incidents, and he finally made his way back up there. Nathan Reynolds as well, but I felt like I could kind of squeeze a little more out of the car, which is a crazy thing to say. I finished ahead of him, but that was a pretty interesting race. I felt like everything was stacked against me. I crashed. I don't know, dude. But man, it feels so good to win, and I love this group of guys, and it means so much to me to be able to do good here.
Matt, what do you got?
Massive congratulations on the win, Nathan. Early on in the race, I think you were the first driver to really start utilizing the middle and the top side to start making some moves, and it seemed like after they saw you have some success, everybody started dabbling in it a little bit. Was that something you kind of found during the race or something you found during practice that you wanted to try out? How did that come to you?
Well, I thought I was horrible until I got in the race and I just started flying around the top, and I was like, are these guys just saving tires? I didn't know what was going on, and I just feel more comfortable up top. Everywhere was so tricky. I gotta applaud all these guys, man. This setup was so hard to drive. I thought I was gonna lose it multiple times, and I felt the top was just a little safer for me. I couldn't roll the bottom very well. I was really slow on the bottom. But the top felt good, but I knew I was shredding my tires, especially the right front and stuff up top. But I don't know, I just kept running it, and I just tried to stay consistent up there. I definitely felt like I was on the edge of out of control there for a bit, and it was tricky to try to keep it, underneath me and try to hang on to it. I totally thought I was going to spin myself with like a few laps to go. I thought I was totally going to mess it up.
Well, you got off sequence a couple of times here tonight, but I mean, I would say it was a plan well executed, especially when you're able to come down pit road the same time as the majority of the other drivers for your final pit stop. Yeah, just all in all, it's always a great night when you can end up in victory lane, but really good race here, solid race for you here tonight, and a well-deserved second victory of your young Venom Truck Series career. I know one shout-out that's coming, but we'll let you give the rest of the shout-outs here as well.
All right. Well, my dad got me a brand new sim rig set up this past week and stuff, and he got me a brand new direct drive wheel and everything. Surprised me, and man, that definitely helped me tonight. I wasn't used to it yet. This was like my first. Well, Talladega was my first race with it, but that ended pretty early. But this was my first really like full race with it, and man, I thought I didn't understand it. I was like, oh man, it's so different, but I just kind of got in the rhythm near the end, and I don't know. I'm just so glad I have my dad and my mom and all my friends. I have a big friend group supporting me that watches the races. And obviously, we got to shout out the Skinwalker, Jared Vega, of course.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely, dude. Got to owe it to him, man. Couldn't do it without him.
Absolutely. Always a shout out to the Skinwalker. And shout out to you. It's another win on the season. Man, you got to be feeling pretty good. 2 wins here before the All-Star break. And especially the last couple of weeks have been rough. I would say probably not through any fault of your own, especially last week at Talladega. But way to stay above it. Way to come out on top here tonight. Go party hard. We'll be talking to you again here in Victory Lane very soon, I'm sure.
All right. See you guys.
Wow. And Nathan is right. Didn't want to blow smoke while he was here in the booth, but things a couple of times during this race were very much stacked against him, and some interesting radio conversations surrounding him, and he kept his head on straight here tonight. And to win at Bristol is one thing, but really to win the mental game at Bristol is another thing. So big shout out to Nathan for that. Yeah, what did we have? We had a record, I think, 20 cautions here tonight. I would say maybe 8 to 10 of those, maybe even 12, were not the fault of these drivers. These guys, for whatever reason, the baseline setup just absolutely sucked here tonight. It's plain and simple, and that it ruined most of the racing here tonight. But when we got green flag racing, boy, it was good. We had a great cast of characters up front all night long that were giving it everything that they could possibly give it. It's just this setup absolutely failed these drivers here tonight. So I don't think, sure there are people that are going to be upset with how this race went, but I think these drivers did everything that they could here tonight. And this was going to be a tough one, and it proved to be tougher than it needed to be for sure. But that's my 2 cents on that, Matt. I guess we'll give you your closing bit here before we wrap this broadcast up.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I mean, just a huge shout out to the drivers. The endurance race being at Bristol was already going to be a tough test. You throw on the setup that was just very, very difficult here tonight. It just made it that much worse for him. So shout out to the drivers for enduring tonight. It was certainly a tough one, but they did it well. And shout out to everybody that was hanging out with us through the endurance race. Matt Schlosser, JJ Wang, John K, Mrs. Swoda, Kyle Zittel hopped in here, Lindsey G, of course, and Tyler Burgett there after the race had concluded as well. Thank you guys for hopping in the chat, and anybody else that was watching here tonight. Greatly appreciate it.
Hey, Brad Saxon just hopped in the chat 3 seconds ago as well. So shout out to Brad. Got some exciting stuff with him coming up, it sounds like. But more on that soon. Next couple of streams for you tomorrow night. It's the ASRL Sports Car Championship at Lime Rock Park Classic. On Thursday night, nothing stream-wise, but we do have the best moments of Turn 200 in 2023. Some personal favorites. Not all of our favorite moments, but some favorites of Matt and myself that we have compiled into a video that will premiere on Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern Time. Then Friday night, open qualifying and last chance qualifier. The Gen 4s at Talladega for the Turn 200 Championship race. And said Turn 200 Championship race is on Saturday night. The best from across all leagues in Turn 200 competition will converge on Talladega to duke it out for a big prize. Then on Monday night, we are back with the Formula Super Series at Phillip Island. And next week for the Venom Truck Series, it is Nashville Super Speedway. That's all we've got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody with the Venom Truck Series. Thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from the endurance race at the last great Coliseum, where Nathan Palawota stands tall for career victory number 2.